It suddenly became a Pony Tonight.
That'll
Sheldon's
work.
talking.
That'll work. We just got it.
Yeah,
That'll work.
good.
All right.
All right, let's do this.
All right. This is FNGR, and welcome to Limbo Podcast, joined by the following co-hosts: Corpulent Brony.
Hello.
Looney the I forgot your goddamn. What's your shtick, Eric?
The Looney Turtle.
The Looney Turtle. He's never been on this.
Simply forget that.
Yes, I know. Oh, he just threw me out of the rift. That's wonderful. Okay, and Sheldon Penderhughes III from Pony Tonight.
What's up, horse people? How you?
Wow, that is horrible. And our king of limbo for the evening, Jerry Peet.
I can't do the evil laugh. It just hurts too much.
Yeah, I was about to say that would have matched up perfectly with that thumbnail I can't use. It's fine. So let's see, before I take over here, who has any questions they'd like to lead out with?
I think you should begin, Anthony. It's your podcast.
Okay, well, I didn't want to be a dick here, but let's see. What series, animated or otherwise, would you like to bring back to TV?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, you're the guest man.
Oh, right. Okay. I would say Avatar: The Last Airbender, and no, I don't count The Legend of Korra because that sucked. Bring back the good Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Very good. As a follow-up, which would you make sure never existed? Or was that Korra?
Well, okay, I suppose we could go with Korra, but it's like animated series that I wish never existed. I'm going to go with Monster by Mistake.
Huh. I'm going to have to look that up.
Hey, if you thought the animation of RWBY was bad, if you thought the animation of Dusk's Dawn was bad, oh, you got to see Monster by Mistake. This was CG before CG was a thing.
Well, Sheldon, it looks like we've got our next Let's Watch to do. Let's see.
You can find the intro.
I don't know about that.
You can find the intro up on YouTube, and I swear to God.
All right.
Dude, anything worse than Dusk's Dawn? Fuck. I'm good.
Yeah.
No, there's Dinky's Destiny, right?
Oh, no.
Oh,
wouldn't call that
that's
as
made by
bad.
the same guy who made like Project Thundercloud.
Mm-hmm. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts? Yeah, Jerry, I don't have this written down as a question, but I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on Dinky or Dusk? Oh, what's it called? Project Thundercloud?
Project Thundercloud.
I started watching one of the Project Thundercloud videos, and I stopped a third of the way through. And I kind of came to the conclusion it's got the same problem as Fall of the Crystal Empire and Snowdrop and Double Rainboom. The animation is great. The voice acting is okay. The sound design is great. The writing is absolutely fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Who's writing this? My God.
I think the animator of that would actually agree with you. So.
Oh.
I think I came to the point. Like, this is where I stopped. Where it was like, it started out with this sort of like Lifetime documentary thing. I kind of thought that was where they were going with this, about like someone who has strabismus, and that actually got me to look up what strabismus was. And like, wow, Derpy's eye thing is actually a real medical condition.
Mm-hmm.
I learned something. That was cool. And then it went to, I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but it's like Derpy walks into, I think is Wormrest Temple, and Celestia's there, and it's like, Celestia, you're causing eternal night, and I will stop you. And that is just like where I stop. It's like, yeah, I'm not watching another fucking tyrant lesson thing.
It hurt because I'm open to the idea of like the background ponies and the Tyrant Celestia thing. I'm like, this is still shit, even if you like these things.
It went complete Indigo Prophecy syndrome. It's like you had this really good idea, this kind of like slice of life thing. It's like, hey, this is interesting. I could also say this is actually pretty good. And then it just took a U-turn into, what is it, Derpy is the savior?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, what are you doing? Why? Why did you do this? You were doing so well. Oh.
This sounds like an ultra positive version of Voice of Reason. Are you still pursuing education, and if so, what's your focus?
No, I am not. I'm not pursuing education.
Oh, okay. I'll just drop it then. Oh, let's see here. What are your favorite YouTubers?
My favorite YouTubers.
And feel free to shill friends if you like.
I actually have, you know what? It was actually going to be on like an FAQ video I was doing, and so I actually have the list here. Because it's like hard to remember anything right off the top of my head. And I'm really just stalling and just filling the whole thing while I try and pull open this notepad document.
Don't worry. If you gave me dead air, I take that out. Believe me, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Jim Sterling, Movie Bob, Markiplier, Silver Quill, Josh Scorcher, Mad Munchkin, Wubcake, Zinnia Jones, Preacher, Ray William Johnson, Swifty, Peanut Butter Gamer, Pro Jared, Dorkley, Screen Junkies, and Gabriel Iglesias.
Nice.
Wow.
Excellent. Was Jim Sterling there your favorite?
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't really have an absolute favorite YouTuber.
I understand. I wanted to get to you did a piece on censorship here. I was going to reference
yes.
I was going to reference Bob's and Sterling's as well. I believe Looney did his own little piece on that. I've always really liked these on how you said that it's not censorship unless it's from the government, correct? Or my citing?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not any meaningful form of censorship.
Is there a point in time where a privately owned I guess a company or something like that could get big enough where it would be as big as the government, where it would constitute a censorship, at least to you?
That would be any point wherein a private entity is the government. And I suppose you could say that the government is in fact a private entity because it's not necessarily have to answer to other nations, but it's sort of like things where, like the Mirror's Edge universe, where the government is corporate, or anarcho-capitalism, where those who have power rule by virtue of go fuck yourselves.
So basically like the RoboCop series.
Yes, RoboCop. There we go, RoboCop.
All right, let's see. Have you had any interesting experiences between yourself, Brony or otherwise, online? Positive or negative?
Well, I suppose there's Josh.
Yeah, how did you get to meet, become friends with Josh then?
Josh found like a year-old blog post of mine where it's like I started get into video game reviews on my Tumblr blog. Now, like anyone who starts out doing anything, I wasn't very good at it. But it's like a year passed, and I got better at it. But Josh found like the first review I did on Team Fortress 2 and decided to do a response video on it. Now, this review was negative. Now, let's combine guy with big YouTube audience plus Team Fortress 2 plus negativity, and what do you think happened? I got a swarm of angry mail into my inbox, into several other blogs that were affiliated with me. One of them even saying, like, one of my friends should be crucified, another should drown in her own blood. This kind of stuff, like typical Gamergate shit. And
that's certainly not happening today.
No. They're all online internet gamers and Steam fans. They're a totally level-headed bunch. Well, I suppose that considering how they just completely shoved Valve's paid mods thing right back down their throat, they're probably getting a little bit better.
So how do you deal with that type of hate online? Like that sort of.
For the most part, I tend to just delete it, or I just block that person and move on. So anyway, that kind of went on for a bit, and it's like I was never really angry. I was never really angry at Josh. I was kind of like, Josh, why didn't you realize this was going to happen? Come on, why? But I was never really angry at Josh. And then a couple of months passed by. I'm doing this live stream, just for giggles, to the point where, and I think this might have been where the origins of Glass of Water came from. I started playing with a glass, and people said I ship Jerry and Glass in the chat.
They literally need that little.
Yeah. So Josh came in toward the tail end, and the whole chat kind of blew up. It's like, oh my god, it's Josh. And then like afterward, kind of like added me on Skype and asked, I'm doing a review of Over a Barrel. Do you want to collab with me on that? And about a year later, here we are.
Very good. See, I wanted to go back to this when Corporal got cut off there. He's mentioned in the past he's had to go through piece by piece editing comments for a video and thought it was a complete nightmare. Isn't that very time consuming?
In a sense. It really all depends on the size of your audience and how exactly you go about doing it. The new system I have set up, it's kind of like keep behavior. It's not necessarily to keep behavior stable so much as it is to reduce like the spam. So far I have it set it up that all of the comments are behind an approval wall, and I tend to just kind of pick and choose a few that are kind of worth responding to, and those are the ones that you'll actually see. And one of the biggest reasons I figured I should be doing this is because I have a lot of people who ask a lot of very repetitive questions. You've probably seen them. It's like, what's the song? What's this joke here? Can you explain this part here? And I've found that with a lot of videos, these questions are asked over and over and over again. And so if I throw them all behind the approval wall, those questions, I can just like approve like one of each. It's like, can you explain this joke here? What's the song at this point? Do you actually hate this thing here, or were you just kidding around? I can have those be highlighted among like the few comments that there are, and they won't get buried under the spam. And it's genuinely, it's significantly more useful, and it's kind of like making the comment section actually be worth a damn.
But how much time does that take?
Not as much as you might think. There comes a point where you just have to stop looking at a particular video. Like I go down a few, glass of water, mommy Daggio equals alicorns. I don't check that comment section anymore. I just go, I just let it sit there, and it's just like, you know what? If someone has anything worthwhile to say, they're probably on the whitelist as it is. And so I tend to just focus on the newer videos. It's sort of like after maybe 3 or 4 days, there aren't any worthwhile comments being posted. And it's maybe I'll check it now and then. But YouTube actually brought in a new method of looking through the comments and like moderating your comments. That makes the whole system a lot more intuitive.
So for everyone listening, make sure that you look at Jerry's stuff within the first 3 to 4 days.
Well, it's like I look at it here, and it's like already it says like across all my videos, 9,312 comments are held for review, and 238 are likely spam. Now that's because all comments are held for review. But the thing is, I kind of go through this, and most of these are just going to stay there. Maybe I'll scroll through the list for a while, but I'm never going to get through all 9,000 of these comments.
Nice.
And that is crazy to me. For me, I don't get as many comments as you do, but I do have a few videos that get quite a few, and like I'm just like, fuck it. I just like approve everything, and I'm like, say whatever you want, do whatever you want. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care.
Say Jerry,
how many comments are there?
Okay.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. He said 9,000, didn't he?
No, I mean...
Yeah. Go ahead. Make your Dragon Ball Z jokes.
No, I didn't even think of that till you just said that, but hey, good catch.
Honestly, just the ability to have like the questions people are likely going to ask, but they're oftentimes too lazy to look through the comments for, and they'll just ask it again. Or even just having it like buried. Or even like I'll refute a point, but it just gets buried under the crap, and people just ask the same question over and over again. And I find this reduces like 90% of the headaches, both to me and to the viewer.
Well,
and I found that when I started doing it that way, and I just said all the comments are going to be on approval, nobody complains.
Well,
almost like absolutely nobody complained, and maybe like 1 or 2 did.
Yeah, I noticed when I did get through, it felt like I was like, oh, good, I got answered, I got noticed. It's kind of like getting on an Ask blog. What are your thoughts on EQD by chance?
I don't like EQD.
Oh, would you? We can choose to elaborate or skip it if you like.
I don't like its. I gotta say, I don't like its management. I don't like. I find it's kind of like the same thing as Steam. It's almost like Equestria Daily has a lot of pull and influence in the community. Like they can pretty much decide what fan works are going to be seen and what aren't.
Yep.
And they pick shit. Like absolute shit. Somebody went through, it's like the best pony videos of 2014. I thought, oh, well, that was like the year A Very Brony Heartswarming came out, and that was great. Number 1 was Fall of the Crystal Empire. It's like, fucking Christ at this, though.
Well, to be fair, EQD does tend to go with like the most popular crap because that's what
I know. But it's almost like they tend to serve as like both promotional and news. And you know what? I just don't like fandom. I don't like a lot of fandom run communities. It's almost always cheerleading. I think probably the big thing there was, and this was like probably the big one, where there was a friend of mine was being viciously harassed by bronies for a significant degree of time. And she actually brought it to Equestria Daily. And Stathisto said, oh, we don't really report on drama.
Would this have been...
We'll get to that. Okay. Bear in mind that not 3 days before, they had pretty much posted an entire blog post of, this kid tried to commit suicide because he was bullied for being a brony. Well, not really, but we think that's what happened. And it's like, bullshit, Stathisto. You report on drama. You report on nothing but drama. And that was the point I just decided, no, I don't want my work put up on Equestria Daily. And on 2 occasions now, I've had to email Stathisto directly saying, you've posted my work on your site, take it down.
I can respect that.
So do you have any like pony news things that you actually watch or follow, or do you just keep in contact with your network?
Really, the only thing worth following is just the show itself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only like two websites for like news. That's Equestria Daily and Horse News. Equestria Daily is selective, and Horse News is full of shit.
There's also Equestria Confidential.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, they've been around.
It's like if Equestria Daily was Fox News, which reports on what they choose. Equestria Daily is like Fox News. They report on what they choose they're going to report on and what makes the community look good. Whereas Horse News is like TMZ. They report on shit they just make up.
Corpulent, you should save that part for a sound bite for your friends.
Save what for a soundbite?
Oh, there's two gentlemen from Equestria Confidential who are your number one fans.
They are.
Define. Wait, are these like number one fans like some of the people I find in the comments, or number one fans like Zerarick?
Jerry, they hate you.
Oh, baby. Yes.
Okay.
One of them was begging, you have to put me on, I'll behave. I'm like, no, you won't. You're not coming on.
Would it happen to be this guy you had to do the Patreon video for?
No, he did ask, but this wasn't, no. I sat down and I said, well, look, I'll have you on for his show, which I had him on for Pass Analysis. And I was like, he's like, well, I behaved. I was like, yeah, but you're also really too damn quiet. So I don't want you to find your voice. Yeah.
I actually saw that video.
Mm-hmm.
I actually watched through that a bit. Because it's like you posted it on Tumblr and tagged it with my name, and that's one of the tags I track. Because I ego surf like a son of a bitch. And so I kind of like walked through that. It's like, oh god, this guy's in here, but he never said a word. I didn't hear him say a goddamn word. It's like, wow, that was.
Well, to be fair, we had two cancellations as guests that were supposed to happen. So and then when he's like, well, I wanted pasta, but I didn't write out questions for him. I was like, yeah, well, sit there, think of something, and when you get a chance, I'll keep trying to stop for you. And he didn't find the nerve. It's not everyone can do podcasts. I remember me and Sheldon sucked when we first started. Yes, you did. Don't argue with me.
I remember when you first messaged me, I was like, I know that name from. It's like I've seen this username before, and then it's like Patreon video for meh and his glass of shut the hell up. Oh, that's where I've known you from, and I saw that before.
I did want to. I'm gonna be.
I kind of thought, is this guy making like his own Patreon site? It's like, oh no, and it's like, oh, you made it as a Patreon reward, and I'm thinking, oh, you poor bastard.
No, Jerry, that paid off. Like he threw me 10. I made that video, he kicked it up to 20. Then I got another patron because they're like, oh wow, you make these here, I'll give you 10. I made a second video where Mech went up to 50, the next guy went up to 20, and it just snowballed. Now I'm at like $91, and it all started with that one. So I was like, well, I apologize for hitting you, but it was profitable.
So you did it for the sake of your rent?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all about the money.
Honestly, it's like I did it for the money. Oh, well,
Yeah.
carry on then.
Well, yeah. Well, look, I did tell Mech when I came out. I was like, look, I'm going to prove to you that Jerry Peet is not some fire-breathing monster. You watch. And he's been arguing with me about this. So if I prove myself right, he's probably going to unpatron me. So whatever.
Hang on, I guess I got to go put down all this flammable liquid then.
Oh, it's fine.
It's like, I'll prove to you he's not some fire-breathing monster. Oh, so should I just like put all this propane away then?
No, it's fine. Is there anyone in the fandom specifically who gets your goat?
Gets my goat?
Yeah, who drives you
I
nuts?
can't really say anybody. I tend to find like points where like they tend to annoy me as they like in the moment, but then it's just like it stops. See, I'm not someone once asked me, it's like, have you seen Tommy Oliver's latest video? And I said, no. I've expressed numerous times I don't like Tommy Oliver's content. What on earth makes you think I'm following him? Who in their right mind is going to follow someone who makes content they can't stand?
So I don't blame you.
Oh, but you certainly weren't in the comments section over there.
Let's not spread rumors. I've had enough rumors spread about me that I know how it feels.
No, it's golden here. I recall you had some funs with some of the Sparity fans out there. What's your favorite troll that you've done?
Troll?
Yeah, well, in your have a seat over here video, what would you consider like? What's your favorite time where you had some fun with the fans?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Probably when I put probably the video "Glass of Water, Trixie eating a Pop-Tart," where it's like Jerry, where are you going with this? And it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's just Trixie eating a Pop-Tart. That's it. It's just Trixie eating a Pop-Tart while that Family Guy song plays. Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? It's so freaking good. I love Pono Joe's art. He's awesome.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to try and lead into this here. You've had some past experiences and some very vocal thoughts on Molestia. Are you comfortable getting to this part now, or should I put that off?
Molestia? Oh.
I have way more stuff than that, believe me.
Let's put that off for a bit. Let's put that off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Believe I could skip that entirely. Let's see. I've noticed that you had a bit of a run-in there with Mad Munchkin. Have you ever had any other kind of like blow-ups in the comments besides that?
There was one instance where in a few of my videos, Annie Entertainment would just like post like some of the most nitpicky criticisms where it's like, oh, this transition's too long. Skip forward. It's 20 seconds. How impatient are you? And it's like kind of like after a while, I just kind of thought, you know what? I'm just going to block this guy on Google Plus and shut him up for a little bit. It's kind of like, I'm going to put you in the timeout corner. And then he goes and like does like his own video on it. It's like, God, you're taking YouTube comments into YouTube videos. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I got him on Skype. We had a conversation for like 3 hours straight, and then everything was squared out that day.
The only reason I really asked him about this, and A&Y is probably going to send me another angry fucking video about this. Before I had him on, I went to go study his videos. I was like, I'll go look at something in like the 14 videos back. I was like, there has to be something in her. Oh, he talks shit to Jerry Peet. This will be good. So that's the only.
I didn't really see it as talking shit to me. It's mostly because I just couldn't understand half of what he was saying because it's like bad camera mic plus accent equals. Ugh. I gotta say, any pony kind of sounds like Novel.
Novel?
Novel. He's a guy who does YouTube videos where he explains the lore of World of Warcraft.
Oh wow, those sound interesting.
Do you have a part of the fandom you would like to have specifically go away, or is that too close to that question we're putting off right now?
A part of the fandom I would like to have go away. You know what? It's not necessarily a part of the fandom. It's a part of the internet that like infects the every fandom in existence, and that's the message board, free speech. I want to be as big of a dick as possible. I genuinely, unironically believe social justice warriors are a real thing kind of people.
Well, that knocked out 2 questions in a row. Excellent.
Oh, what was the other one?
Oh, the other one was what part of the internet would you like to have go away?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I had a feeling. I was like, yeah, it might not be the same.
Both answers are 8chan.
Excellent.
So what about those like rubs you the wrong way?
It's mostly just the delusional bullshit. It's a matter of like, oh, I support free speech. Not really. I just want to be an asshat and have no one ever question me about it.
Like the hypocrisy of it. Or...
Yes.
So that's because like, someone asked me, what is a social justice warrior? And I said, it's someone who behaves exactly the same as you do, only they're on the opposite end of the political spectrum.
I know you seem to have some possible differences with fan animations. Besides, I know you're a fan of what is it, the Mob series? Is there any other ones that you like?
I love the Mob series.
Oh yeah, that got into that before I got into the show. Is there any?
What?
Was there any other animators that you liked out there? Like, I don't know, Animated James, Crown Prince, Jan Animations, Mixer Mike, anybody else? Or...
I did like a very Brony Hearthwarming. I also liked the one he did for Valentine's Day. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like the people he gets in there, like Silverquill, just make everything so much better. It's pretty much how do I make a good? It's like how do I make a good fan animation? Get Silverquill on the phone. That's how you make a good fan animation. I actually, despite how much I tend to criticize their writing, I think Snowdrop was all right. Dusk's Dawn is always good for a laugh.
What about Double Rainboom?
Double Rainboom, yeah, this is kind of something like the MisAnthro once said, bad drama makes for great comedy, but bad comedy is worthless. And it's kind of like, what would a Double Rainboom look like if it had a better writer? And I said it would look like Tanks for the Memories.
I remembered the build up to Double Rainboom. I've been in the fandom a while. Have you been in the fandom for a long time, or?
Probably started around the tail end of season 1. It was like it was a summer when I started.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty long.
So I was able to download the whole season and just binge watch it because I was bored one day. Well, actually, I remember this. I binge watched the season while I was sitting in the emergency room waiting to be seen.
Oh shit! What were you in for?
I started my first job at Tim Hortons, and it was a back shift. And so it's like kind of like to get into get used to being up at night and sleeping during the day. So yeah, I drank a lot of coffee, and I just drank way too much. Mm-hmm. And over the course of like a couple of weeks, eventually like my heart just started like pounding in my chest, and I started like going through I had these really weird
heart palpitations
shit happening in my body. Yeah, heart palpitations.
Yeah.
And I almost passed out at work. And it's like I had to go to the hospital. It's like, you're drinking too much coffee. Stop drinking coffee for a little while. And that was actually the first time I went into caffeine withdrawal.
Ouch.
And then just like, take it easy. Don't be drinking eight large triples while you're at work.
It's tough to not drink coffee when you work at Tim Hortons. Jeez.
Yeah, they give you free coffee.
Right.
They give you free fucking coffee.
Say, I know I actually cleared this up with you before, but I figured the audience would probably like to hear it as well. I know you were slated for a moment with Dr. Wolf and it didn't materialize. What was your reasons?
I was looking at the script and I just decided it wasn't going anywhere, and I decided not to do it.
Very good.
And that was it. It was just like, this isn't seeming like that good of an idea, and I think I'm gonna stop.
Very good. Let's see.
I got 2 of my better glass of water episodes out of that.
So you just got more mileage out of putting it on your channel. I can appreciate that.
Have you been following episode or season 5 so far?
Well, let's see. We've got the cutie map in 4 minutes, Castle Sweet Castle in 3 minutes, Bloom and Gloom in 3 minutes, Thanks for the Memories in 4 minutes. I think I could safely say yes.
Yes.
Unless this is some mysterious lost season that I'm just not aware of.
So do you like where it's heading right now? Because this season is shaping up to be a little bit different.
I would say it started out at a low point and then it climbed up. I didn't think the cutie map was very good. But Castle Sweet Castle, Bloom and Gloom, Thanks for the Memories, these are all really good episodes. Some of the best.
I've liked them all, even the cutie map.
I kind of like how in Castle Sweet Castle, everyone's just like, that'll take forever. Not if we do a 1980s fixing stuff up montage. Wow, I think we just made it worse.
Let's see. What would you say makes your channel different from your peers? For example, I do this best.
I'm an analysis series that doesn't analyze the show. I analyze the community and the mentality of the fandom.
I like it. Let's see.
I cover different topics. Also, I just do comedy instead of doing reviews. But that's something people have trouble grasping. Where if I make a joke at the expense of the show in the In a Minute series, doesn't necessarily mean I don't like it. I think you have trouble understanding what comedy is.
What's something in contrast you wish you could work more at?
I've always had trouble knowing where the line is for humor. Like, where is the line? And it's like kind of like I'm feeling around in the dark for it, and then someone turns on a line. It's like someone turns on a light, and it's just like, oh, I crossed it 2 miles back.
Yeah, I
just feel stupid.
I can appreciate that, Jerry. You could ask Looney over here. He's banned me 3 times.
When do you feel like you've actually crossed the line, though, recently, or anything specific?
You know what? Funnily enough, I never seem to realize I've crossed the line until after the fact.
Yeah.
And you probably I did this video, like the top 10 worst videos I'd ever done. And I had things like Did You Brony in 3 minutes up there. This one video I had where it's just like, it's based entirely on information that wasn't actually true. And I was just too fucking lazy to double check it. It's like I fell victim to my own confirmation bias. Oh, probably the biggest one. Oh, you guys want to hear this? Because this is kind of an interesting story.
Okay,
Yeah.
why not?
All right. So you guys probably heard about Down with Molestia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Down with Molestia is like really big fandom blow up. It's like Gamergate levels of blowing up, only even sillier. Long story short, a lady said something on the internet, and the internet collectively tried to beat her up for it.
Yes.
But anyway, I kept hearing this phrase bantered around during Down with Molestia, and I'd never heard it before. Rape culture. You guys heard that, obviously.
Yeah.
I had
Somewhat.
never heard the term rape culture before Down with Molestia started. Now, I could sort of suss it out for myself. It's clearly something bad. Obviously, I'm against it. I'm very much against rape as a concept.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and I just one day I had this cleared up, and so I actually asked Pinky Pony, what is rape culture? And she explained it to me. That rape culture is, and I actually wrote it down. I always write this shit down.
Is misogynism going to be in there?
Yes, obviously. Rape culture is, in essence, behaviors and discussions and jokes and humor that sort of like make rape into a gray area where it really shouldn't be, or like people who attempt to make rape into a gray area, where you got things like people who crack rape jokes, people who give the concept of, oh, well, she was dressed like a whore, so clearly she was asking for it, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
You know, pretty basic, simple stuff. It's like, oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. But then she started naming a few more insidious examples, you know, examples that aren't as easy to spot. And she was going through kind of things like rape jokes, molestation being made into like into something silly, sexual assault committed by women being considered as like cute or sexy in some way. And she was going through like this list, and it's like it was almost like she had this list prepared in case someone asked. It just went through them. And as she was going through, I kind of stopped for a second and I thought, oh, fuck. I do these things.
Oh,
I
shit.
do a lot of these things. Like, I do almost every single... I was doing some of these things, like, not just a few days ago. And it was like I had woke... Now, this is a metaphor of mine. It was like I had woken up and for the first time in 10 years realized that my house was covered in Nazi paraphernalia. I had a little bit of a Gabriel Iglesias moment where I just go, oh, I'm a dick. I'm a colossal dick.
So how'd you react?
And-
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't really react outwardly. It's just kind of like when we were done talking, I kind of like sat back and I kind of started thinking about a lot of things. And I came to the realization that there's like a lot of like racist, homophobic, and especially sexist remarks and opinions are done accidentally. Like they're done oftentimes without the knowledge or awareness that the person who did it was even doing it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And all at once, I started like rethinking over a lot of things like Anita Sarkeesian's Tropes versus Women series, and I kind of thought, how many of the developers of those games did that kind of shit unintentionally and would greatly benefit from someone like Miss Sarkeesian pointing this out to them the same way Pinky Pony pointed it out to me. And that was probably the biggest example of where I realized I had gone over the line, because it was kind of like looking back and it's like, wow, for the last 10 years, I've been a right foul asshole.
Well, is it really still being an asshole if you're just doing it not intentionally? You're not trying to hurt people's feelings. You're not trying to cause them any harm or grief.
I suppose it all depends on what your actions after you come to the realization are. And I said this in one of my Eyes to the Wall video. If you open a door and smack someone with it, but you honestly didn't intend to, it would make sense to apologize and work to correct that behavior in the future.
That's true, yeah.
And people who are so aggressively against the idea of, you know, correcting these kind of behaviors kind of sound to me like the people who are just foul douchebags who want to bully people and get away with it. The funny thing is, like, 16-year-old me was a huge dick, and I kind of realized this even before Down with Molestia. Like, 16-year-old me would have been the most pro-Gamergate person imaginable. That's how foul of a person I was.
Mm-hmm.
And where was I going with that? Shit.
I'll kill that out. Don't worry.
A lot of my previous objections to things like social justice warriors and whatnot, because I was that kind of person when I was younger. And a lot of my previous objections to things like social justice warriors and political correctness and whatnot evaporated instantaneously.
I mean, yeah, I think you're making some good points. I mean, obviously, with things like political correctness, you know, a lot of these things are situational. If you're sitting with your buddies at a bar and you're bullshitting, and you're cracking some jokes, and you know, and you let a rape joke slip out, and everybody laughs. I mean, if no one's hearing it and everyone's laughing, and nobody actually means malicious intent or anything like this, or don't actually believe in rape or you know any of these kind of things, I don't think it's a big deal. But I think obviously,
I'm the kind of person who would tell them don't do that. Anyway, even if I was in that situation, I would be that one guy who would say, Cameron, don't crack that joke. You're a fucking douchebag.
well, I mean,
Well, there's better. At least I wouldn't say necessarily. Okay, yeah, I would have probably, but there's better
here's the
places
thing.
to do things.
Yeah, like here's the thing, man. It's like if you
I'm the person who thinks it's like there shouldn't be any place where this kind of stuff is okay because it's not okay.
But there are worse places to do it.
Well, you know what? If you wouldn't, it's like if you can think of one situation where you would never dare do it, then you shouldn't be doing it anywhere.
Well, I mean, would you call, like, say, your mother a douchebag, or?
I have called. Well, I wouldn't call my mother a douchebag.
Or your grandmother?
That's kind of like a male.
I mean, that's sort of
term.
like that's like a
But
one
here's
instance where you wouldn't do it, but
I have gotten on the case of my brother, my father, and my mother for this kind of thing. Like, my parents are some of the most casually sexist people I know, and I am frequently calling them out for it.
I think what the most important thing is that sometimes, you know, you're in situations where you, like you said, Jerry, you say something and you don't realize that you might have offended or pissed somebody off or made them upset. And I think what's important is that when you realize that somebody is offended and upset, you should apologize. You should not be a dick and not. If you legitimately hurt somebody's feelings and really made them upset, absolutely, you should apologize. That's what I think the most important thing is.
It seems there's just like a lot of people on the internet, and I wonder how many of these people would be this way in real life if there wasn't the off chance they get
they
beat
wouldn't
up
be.
for it.
They wouldn't be. I guarantee.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of like the big.
Yeah,
that's the big That's the big thing that polices free speech, where it's like, what stops people from being this kind of foul in real life? And I said, because if you were this foul to someone in real life, there's a very likely chance they're going to break your nose for it.
Right.
And as I said, there's two kinds of people in this regard. Those who do it without realizing it, in which case you do call them out and you do make it clear that this kind of behavior is unacceptable. Yeah. And there's the people who do it intentionally because there's just a foul douche, in which case you grab a blunt object and whack them over the head with it.
Yeah, but you can take that to the other extreme. Well, two points. Number one, the whole internet thing and the anonymous thing, it's not new. People have been doing things anonymously for hundreds of years. Back in the colonial days, that was why so many of the founding fathers never put their names on anything they published. There was the whole part about, you know, that being extremely illegal. But also, there were some things they said that were very controversial, and they would be really shunned in their communities if it had been found out they were the ones behind them. And then the other side I want to make is there are people out there who get offended over almost anything, like they're overly affected.
Oh yeah.
And it's there's got to be a line somewhere.
There's some people out there who are very aggressively overly offended at everything. Okay, you have your parents' television councils, you have your Femins, you have your Gamergates. Okay, these kind of people exist. I'm aware of that, but I think most sensible people can figure out where the line is, and like they know where the line is, and it's a matter of are you not aware that you've crossed the line, or do you just not care?
I wanted to say this actually, Sheldon, while I'm talking, could you at least mute?
Sure, I can do that.
Well, bear in mind, I can actually cut that static out.
Oh.
Because we had like that one bit where I could just get the static itself, so I'll just cut that out.
All right.
Well, also, I'm curious, what did you say you were using, Shell? Like what microphone?
I'm using right now, I normally use a Fire Studio, which it's a multi-channel XLR recorder, mostly for instruments, but it's not working, so I'm using an M Audio fast track USB preamp.
And it is killing me.
Blah blah blah. Technical bullshit. You know.
I'm using a $30 USB headset I picked up at
really.
TBBBAP.
And it sounds
really
yes. Next to
really
Sheldon, holy shit.
Yeah, it's just a USB headset. I don't know where the hell you're wasting all your fucking money on.
No, it's the sound card. It's a piece of shit.
Well, yeah, there's your problem. I mean, if your sound cards, your sound quality is only going to be as good as your sound card.
Okay. I wanted to say this is just my personal experience, and I think some of my friends, Sheldon and Corpulent, could back me up here. I have a series of ideals, and I'll come into contrast when I try and encourage, I guess they'd probably say push, on other people. And I know it's swimming uphill, and it's difficult. How do you deal with that when you're dealing with friends and family, personally?
Deal with what?
Trying to get people to, how would I say it? Understand your ideals.
You'd be surprised how many headaches are just alleviated when you have a monstrous superiority complex.
So I just need to be more confident.
Sure, confident, arrogant, smug.
Okay.
It's all the same shit. But look, and we used to kind of get into this a lot. Where it's like me and my father get into we used to get into a lot of religious debates, and I kind of just gave up. It's like, you know what? My father's an idiot. He's not gonna fucking listen. Right. My brother's got a really foul attitude towards women, and it's really just a matter of, Cameron, shut the fuck up. Your son's here, and I'd rather you not poison his mind too. Yeah, I'm not exactly very restrained around my family. My family, it's kind of like a joke, or it's like I would say I'd be in a room with my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, and it's like everyone in this family is out of their fucking minds. Now I would say everyone. It's like that includes me, and I love how every time that happens, both my father and my sister will say, I'm not out of my mind. You're the guys. It's like, you're the two.
I'm in a, I don't know. I'm still thinking about the whole offense thing, and you know, I'm just noodling it over. You know, I've had arguments with people who we're arguing about something that's not the least bit offensive, say something about the show, but they sort of get offended that you're actually you're actually talking to them about it, and you're trying to use logic. And I know one guy does this a lot to people. He tries to use the weirdest logic ever, and he tries to make you cite all your sources.
Someone like who treats casual discussion as if it's a debate club or a court proceeding. Those people are like the fucking worst.
Aren't they the worst?
I want you to cite all your sources. These are like my sources I'm calling up from memory. I would love to carry a bibliography with me everywhere I go, but that's a pretty big fucking book.
I believe you were talking about Biter, yes. Holy
that same concept could pretty much go for everyone who thinks that they're smarter than they actually are. And it's like, oh, do you have a source for that? Not on hand. If you give me about an hour, I could probably find it. But I mean, that would kind of break the flow of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever run into those people though who will actually just start saying they're offended by that, and how would you handle that when you're just trying to make an argument? I mean, I guess you just walk away at that point because obviously you're not going to be able to get anywhere.
I run into people who just say that they're offended by something I've said.
Yeah, but you don't think it's actually offensive at all, and you can't even.
Ever since that thing with Pinky Pony, I've always come to the realization there's a 50% chance that that I have severely insulted someone, and I don't realize that I've done it. So it's like when someone starts getting really angry, it's just like it seems to come out of nowhere, where it's just like someone gets really angry just out of the blue. I immediately start looking over exactly everything else I've said. And it's like I check the one I can be sure of first. It's like I go through and I try and find, did I say something like really fucking insulting in like the last 5 sentences or what? Because I can check that right away, because I can usually remember everything I've just recently said, except for now because I'm on the spot. But I do that, and I kind of think, okay, I'm checking, no match found. I'm checking again, no match found. I'm going to ask Cassie and Brittany and Pinky and Josh. I'm going to ask all my friends, no match found. Okay, I think you're just a child.
That explains it then.
There are petulant children out there, okay? It's like I'm not denying that. There are a lot of people out there who are just absolute petulant children. But you'll find that a lot of people who like to raise objections about like social justice warriors tend to blow these things like monstrously out of proportion. I remember somebody once shoved like proof that SJWs run rampant over Tumblr, and it was a collage. It was like a collaboration of screenshots of posts, and it was like 20 posts. And it's like, wait, the source address is in like a lot of these, and I go and check, and like these 20 screenshots were gathered over the last like 6 years. 20 people in 6 years. I don't think it's as big of a problem as you think it is. 6 years is a long time.
I do kind of agree, because like I don't really spend a lot of time on Tumblr, mostly because I don't like it over there. But a couple months ago, I forget what issue it was of Friends Forever that came out, and it had to do with Spike and this girl dragon.
Yeah.
And Corpulent, if you can help me out here, I don't remember exactly what it was about.
Was this the one with the police?
Yeah, and it was the one with a lot of people, especially in the Horse News chat, were like screaming, "She's an SJW! She's an SJW! Oh my god! Oh my god!" You know, it was just like a bunch of fucking nonsense, and everybody was blowing up over it. And I'm just like, man, like, guys, are you fucking serious? Like,
they did the same thing with Starlight Glimmer. Okay, if they see anyone, this is kind of the thing about the internet, and this is kind of like where I realized like where the term SJW comes from, where you got like message board culture and Tumblr culture. And then, like, one will call the other SJWs, the other will call the other will call the other, I don't know, whatever the fuck the term is this week. I got to give Tumblr credit. At least they tend to find new words every week. But and I kind of realized, this is Archie and Mike getting into one of their stupid chest puffing contests. It's just left-wing versus right-wing political arguments. And that's what it is. It's like if anyone expresses any sort of like left-wing ideology, it immediately gets called an SJW by these people. It's just a snarl word. It's like when Fox News calls someone a commie or a Marxist, which these people also misuse and overuse.
It's like these arguments.
I miss those terms, don't you?
Dude,
That's all it is. If you hear the term SJW, you might as well just mentally replace it with libtard or faggot or whatever the term this week is.
Like, it's really
I
weird.
wonder. I don't know anyone who uses the word libtard.
What? I'm a self-identifying libtard. Deal with it.
It's old and out of date. It got replaced with social justice warrior.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's really all it is. It's just It's just everyday left versus right political wanking.
Well,
Right, and what's hold on, shut up. What's really weird about it? What's really weird about it too is like the arguments that I pay attention to in the debates, like nothing positive or productive ever comes out of them, right? It's just two people or two sides arguing constantly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
nothing ever gets done, nothing ever gets solved. They all get tired and go to bed, right, and that's it. And then they wake up the next day and it's the same shit. It's like, why are we not trying to interject something positive that people can learn or something that people can actually practically use, you know? Like, why? Why are we doing this?
I can't for the life of me figure out why Jerry would block off so many of his comment section.
no one is arguing that YouTube comments aren't like the den of shit.
Oh yeah, it's the funniest thing. It's like, in one breath, someone will say, oh, YouTube comments are absolute shit. I mean, nothing good ever comes from YouTube comments. And then they immediately come across a video where the comments are disabled. You're refusing to stand up to public scrutiny. You can't take criticism.
Can I change the subject or?
Yeah, sure. Go
No,
ahead.
you're not allowed. You're not allowed to.
I was actually trying to, but then Sheldon told me to shut the hell up. Oh my god.
Subject triggers me.
Okay. Listen.
No. This, I do. Oh no, I want to do this one since it's semi-relevant, but it's going to get us off. How do your passions differ from then your online persona?
Well, I can understand why you think talking about passions is going to get us off, but
Gets me off.
how do my passions differ from my online persona? Well, my online persona loves verbally assaulting his viewer base and being a smug bastard, whereas in reality, I like playing World of Warcraft and editing videos.
How much have you dumped into World of Warcraft? I've never done the online thing. How fast is that?
I have played it since the game launched, and I took a very brief, maybe 1 year hiatus from it between the middle of Cataclysm and the end of Miss Pandaria.
1 year's brief. Yeah, that seems legit.
Do you keep up on the pay while you're doing that, or you just let it lapse, or what?
Sometimes I'll if I'm like nearing the end of my subscription, but it's like I'm not doing anything. Like I've already cleared all the current content on my preferred difficulty. And it's like I'll let it lapse, but then it's like, okay, I feel like playing today. Oh, my subscription ran out. Just renew it. I think maybe it'll lapse for maybe 3-4 days at a time, if ever. So yeah, I do keep up with the payment on it.
So I wanted to ask, you mentioned earlier that on your channel you like to do comedy a lot. Do you watch any comedians? Do you have any favorite comedians or anybody you sort of like try to, I don't know, see as an idol or anything?
I base a lot of where I tend to get my humor off Jim Sterling, Movie Bob, and Gabriel Iglesias. Those are probably like my three biggest inspirations for how I like build my online persona, because I find they're very funny. And there's a lot of stuff you can learn about comedy from them, especially since Movie Bob's got like this whole video, which is pretty much like comedy 101. I think it's called GTA 5 is not satire.
Mm-hmm.
That was very informative.
So do you ever watch any like comedians, any more traditional stage comedians, or is that?
Oh yeah, like stand-up comedians. Yeah, I like some of George Carlin. I'll admit.
Good man.
I'll admit sometimes Dane Cook and Jeff Dunham can make me laugh. Robin Williams, of course.
Very good.
It was brilliant.
Like Robin Williams.
Hands down.
And Russell Peters. I love Russell Peters. He's a Canadian East Indian comedian. He makes some of the most flagrantly racist jokes, but he does it in probably the funniest way. Russell Peters is probably the example of, yes, you can in fact make good comedy out of anything. It's just difficult.
Is it really offensive if you laugh?
Maybe. Yeah, I find that, and I suppose this could even go to the case with rape jokes, is that you can do that, but it's probably the single most difficult thing you're ever going to do. And it's like, oh, well, they could totally be funny. It's like, well, first of all, no type of joke is. I love when people tell me it's like, oh, rape jokes are always funny. Well, that's an impossibility because no form of comedy is always funny. And that is probably the single most difficult type of comedy to do. And what the fuck makes you think some random message board troll has the skill to pull that kind of comedy off?
I don't know if you watched George Carlin enough. You could just copy paste the lines.
Well, that's the thing. George Carlin's like whole spiel about rape. It's actually a joke. It's actually joking. It's actually comedy about rape culture. That's what he's mocking. He's mocking rape culture the whole time.
All right then. Let's see. We almost got off. We almost got off topic there. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Should I ask my question or?
Oh, we'll get to that in a second. No, there's one real
No.
quick for Jerry. I just started this one. If you had 4 more hours in your day, what would you do with it?
If I had 4 more hours in my day, I'd probably get more sleep.
You'd make a good American, Jerry.
What do you mean I'd make a good American?
I was just saying lazy.
Lazy? I would go from 3 hours of sleep a day to 7 hours of sleep a day.
Very good. Well,
That's
sorry.
not healthy, man. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. You're going to keel over one day, man.
What part of caffeine addiction are you not getting?
So in other words, you would just wind up drinking 4 more hours of caffeine.
Hey, man, I do the caffeine and nicotine thing, and I still can't do that. You're like a fucking god.
Oh, let's see. Any advice you have to your fellow YouTube content creators based on the various rules or laws? Like, have you gotten any strikes or grief from that bullshit?
I got a copyright strike once.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of like one of the many like things that inevitably became the In a Minute series where me and a friend, and we kind of did like this unscripted Let's Watch. And it wasn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
On Sweet and Elite. Now, that used uncut the whole episode. It was the length of the episode was completely uncut, and it was just like us cracking comments throughout it. And that got a copyright strike because it's the whole uncut episode. And when it comes to copyright content, I find one of the best things you could possibly do is to not act like a child about it. Like if you get a copyright flag, if you get a content ID flag, you dispute it. Okay. 9 times out of 10, if a copyright holder finds their claim is valid, especially if it's a worldwide block, don't dispute it, okay? If a video is blocked worldwide and it's like that red flag blocked worldwide, don't dispute it because they will just DMCA it. If it's blocked in certain countries or just match third-party content, dispute it. Because the worst they can do is just say, we think this claim we believe this claim is valid and we're going to stick to it. YouTube gives you the ability to dispute a claim. So it's like, do that. But if they believe the claim is valid, don't bring it up again. Because it's like lawyers, people whose sole job it is to understand the law, have looked over this and said, nope, this is valid. We're going to stick with it. Yeah. That's it. The fight's over. Like the fight is over. Now you have 2 options beyond that when that happens. You can take it in stride and try and suss out the things that might have gotten or to just like look at the content and realize, okay, I can't use this. Or you can act like a petulant child about it. And I don't want to I don't want to name any names, Mysterious Mr. Enter.
I was hoping you might.
So you wouldn't recommend making a video where you put like 2 airsoft guns in your mouth?
Hey!
Oh,
I noticed, when I made a response to when Misgender's channel went down, Jerry here went and commented on, when I was talking about something or other about censorship to that. I was wondering how you felt about the Misgender thing.
Was that... Wait, hang on a second.
Dreamcatcher, yep, that's me. That's my secondary. When I want to be a dick, I have a secondary channel.
It was like the one where... oh, yeah, I saw that. Like, that was probably... Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a very
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I find that one of the biggest things... Well, this is the thing that's probably most important. Because copyright holders pay attention. They pay attention. They see how you react and whatnot. And if you get a reputation of being a fucking rage bitch about the whole thing... Well, I'm not gonna look. Honestly, I'm just not gonna hold back about it. If you get a reputation of being a fucking rage bitch about the whole thing, they're not gonna want to work with you because it's just gonna be a matter of you're just a petulant child. We have the power in this relationship. You're nothing to us. It's kind of like, and I find it really grinds my balls when people say it's like, oh, Viacom did this because they can't take criticism. They're fucking Viacom, a massive multimedia corporation that owns Nickelodeon, Paramount, and God knows what else.
The point I wanted.
Curmudgeons like MisAnthro are not going to reduce anybody who works there to tears.
I believe it was 2002. I'm probably wrong on the date. YouTube had to go to Viacom, or had to go to court with Viacom for 3 goddamn years. And YouTube or Google is a multi-billion-dollar company. So my knee-jerk reaction is,
lost.
No, they won.
They won?
They won against Viacom, but that was my point to like all the MisAnthro fans. I was like, well, good luck. I know he doesn't have that much money. I see what his Patreon is. It's $75 a video.
That's the thing. It's like I wanted to consider expanding the Minute series out to Star Trek Voyager because I love that show. And I kind of like looked up. It's like, okay, I'm trying to find like the copyright holder, and it's like, oh, it's Viacom. Shit. So I actually fired off Viacom an email. It's like asking for permission. One of their lawyers got on the phone with me. And we kind of discussed it out, and I kind of like walked them through like what kind of content I do, but in the end they said no.
Okay. They were gracious enough to tell you. If you've ever seen...
In the end, it's like they were kind of like looking it over, because I don't think a lot of YouTubers ever send outright permission. There's this attitude on YouTube, better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission.
Yeah.
No.
I've heard BBC's actually pretty good on that.
Total Biscuit, but that's a load of shit.
Yeah.
So I actually went and sent a request about it. Now, as I was saying, your reputation and how you behave in regards to content in regards to copyright really affects it, because at the end of the day, corporations are in fact people. They're staffed and run and led completely by people. They are congregations of people, and lawyers are people too. And if they go to look at your work and look at the things you're doing, and they find, hey, not only is this guy raging about laws he clearly doesn't understand, or he's just refusing to understand, he's also insulting our employees, and even like going so far as to attack them attack their personal lives. You know what? Fuck this guy. He can burn in hell for all I care. I have a very good relationship with copyright holders. So much so, it's like I've had like several worldwide copyright blocks from Disney and Hasbro, and and even against my better judgment, I disputed them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, go ahead. You can monetize your content." Yes! I was like, yes, that's awesome.
I would have been scared for that, actually.
What a lot of people too in this whole debate seem to forget is that YouTube, okay, so these copyright claims and everything, they're not really legal. And this sort of goes back to your censorship argument, because YouTube is just enforcing some rules on its people that it thinks is the best for its community. It doesn't want to be taken to court again for 3 years and spend billions of dollars. And the best thing to do is just to be overly defensive and just say, you know what, we're going to put the ball in their court. And, you know, if they can take down your content, if it matches them on a content ID, there you go. It's not really a legal thing.
The content ID system is flawed.
Yeah.
But there's no way you can actually improve it. Now, some people will say it's like, oh, the content ID system is flawed. The solution is to remove it. No, you're an idiot. The problem is, like, there's so much stuff uploaded to YouTube on a daily basis. And so now people actually have to file their work in order for content ID to actually take effect, a copyright holder has to bring their work to YouTube and say, I don't want this on your website. And then it goes under content ID. Okay? Or it's like, you can put this on your website, but under these terms and conditions. And that'll oftentimes be, it's like, it can be on your website, but we will be the ones monetizing it. Which I think, for the most part, is fair to an extent. Now, the problem with that, the only flaw with the content ID system is it's automated. Okay?
Yes.
And you can't do anything else with it, because, like, something, what is it, like, 2,000 hours of footage is uploaded to YouTube every minute?
Yep.
Or something.
17 years of content in one day.
In one day is uploaded to YouTube. No one can go through all that content. And so it's a matter of, okay, the content ID system is going to find it, and it's going to find something it thinks it owns, and it flags it. And it's like, well, that's a flawed system. It's like, YouTube knows this. That's why you can submit a dispute, which then sends the video directly to the copyright holder and says, hey, this was flagged and it was disputed. You take care of it.
Yeah, but there are people misusing the system. Like, there are people. I got flagged on a video. I was using copyrighted content, but what I got flagged for was because I used 2 sound clips together, and it sounded like a remix that someone else did. And
have
they
you ever
took
had
it-
this? Have you ever had this happen where you get like a content ID flag and it's like I can't even determine what, but it's like it's for a copyright claim that doesn't even exist in the video. Like you do a video about Star Wars. It's like you do a video about Star Wars or something. Now,
Yeah.
obviously,
This
Fox
is what I'm
or
talking about. It
it's
pisses
like
me
Fox or Lucasfilm, and you get like one of these content ID flags where for like this one YouTube video somewhere. It's like there's this YouTube video somewhere else.
I disputed it and lost.
Ouch.
I've got those on occasion. I dispute them, and almost every single time I've always won.
I lost because the guy I'm disputing it to is some small-time YouTuber who got into the copyright the content ID system, and they're able to monetize that video, and they're going to dispute that as long as they can because they're getting money.
Delete the video then.
I don't want to delete my.
Is
video.
it that? Yeah.
It was one of
delete.
my.
It's like no. Well, that's the thing. I mean, if it's something that small, I will often find. Okay, I disputed it. Oh, I'm going to keep it up there. All right, I'm going to take the video down, take those 2 clips out, put it back up, and go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Or just change the pitch so it just fucks the content. It's like it'll take me less time to completely bypass you than it will to fight you on it. So,
Yeah.
there's the matter of, at the end of the day, we can discuss the legality about copyright law all we want, but unfortunately, copyright law is something a lot of people just don't understand. It's like, how many times have you seen that's like, oh, well, this is fair use? Fair use is determined in court of law on a case-by-case basis because there's like so many caveats about fair use.
State by state, nation by nation.
And there's so many caveats about fair use that for an individual work to qualify, someone has to look that over. They have to look at it and find, because there's even matters like, sure, you could criticism is filed under fair use, but if your criticism amounts to using 100% of the footage, then no, like that fair use has been rendered null and void because it's effectively piracy. And this was the issue I ran into with like Let's Watch Sweet and Delete, where I got my 1 copyright strike because it may as well have been piracy. And it didn't matter that we were cracking jokes. It mattered about as much as 2 guys sitting on a couch cracking jokes while they watch TV. And so because of that, it has to be determined in court of law on a case-by-case basis. It's a matter of, oh, well, this qualified for fair use. Oh, so you're going to go to court? No. Then shut the fuck up. Talking about fair use doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit if you're not actually going to go through the process by which fair use is determined and applied. There's a difference between a fraudulent copyright claim and an incorrect copyright claim.
We've had a friend who, I think the group's name was Etna. We are claiming this content on behalf of Hasbro, and they took away all his monetization. Igata. I believe something like that.
It's like, we are claiming this content on behalf of Hasbro.
You legally can't do that.
This company got taken down.
Yeah, you can't.
I got something like that once. Just something that's like, Shout Factory. Because Shout Factory was all over the place for a while.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm just going to send this off to Hasbro. And about 1 hour later, it was all cleared, and that was good for monetization. Yeah, Hasbro likes me, and my network, and Hasbro also likes the network I work for. So.
Oh, what's the network?
Zoomin.tv.
Oh, what is it again?
Zoomin.tv.
Zoomin.tv.
Well, Anthony, you want me to do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm all out of ammo, more or less.
It's like, finally.
Sorry.
It's like, I get to ask my question. Finally, hopefully. Stupid Japanese word I refuse to say will notice me.
This is the most important question of the week. Who is best pony and why?
Who is best pony and why? Now, does it have to necessarily be a pony?
Nope.
It doesn't?
I guess not.
Okay, in that case, Adagio is best pony.
Oh, okay, that works.
Oh, okay. Why do you think she's best?
Did you see Rainbow Rocks?
Yeah,
yes.
Holy crap!
I want
that
your
woman
opinion.
scares the crap out of me.
I loved your argument for that. Basically, she only lost by like happenstance, more or less.
She just lost because it was just a matter of it may as well have been one lucky shot. Like I have like a whole video where it's like for a third of it, I'm just gushing about Adagio so much that people started making weird crack ships.
That's the first person who's ever answered with one of the Dazzlings.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes, Adagio. Always best pony. Always. Even though it's like, oh, well, Adagio's not actually a pony. I see hooves on the siren form. It counts. And I feel like that moose in Brother Bear. It counts. No, I didn't even spy anything. It counts.
No, I could respect that. A lot of the fans, I've drawn her in pony form, more or less, so that's how I can imagine it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'd like to say I'd loved having you on. If you ever would like to come back as a co-host, I'm open to the idea.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
This was fun.
Any final thoughts?
Hey, what do you think about those people who like to do response videos?
You know, no. This is there's a gentleman out there that I'm more interested in. Yes, this my unofficial waifu, MisAnthro Pony. What do you think of this guy? If you know who I'm talking about.
I'll be honest. I think MisAnthro Pony.
I don't think I handled that very well. I'll admit it. I was just a dick. I was
hear
tired.
misanthropy, and I'm thinking, is that supposed to be a reference to something? But it's like I've only ever seen a few, and it's sort of like it's different for each one.
Yeah.
There's like the one you did the Patreon video for, and it's like I go through this, and he's done like 2 or 3 of them, and it's just a matter of okay, this is just someone who's just having a bit of a whine. Just insulting me all over and over and over again, flagrantly not listening to what I have to say.
No. He's not bashing on you. MisAnthro Pony is he's one of
what?
He's one of well, you know, Mech is one of my zealots. Misanthropy is one of Josh's.
Well, that's the thing. I was just kind of talking about the first one, and it's just, you know what? It's just it's like talking to a wall. I might as well be talking to a wall. I even go through the comments, and it's like I see one comment. This is like before I blocked him on Google Plus. And he was talking to this other person who was arguing with him. It's like, just stop commenting, kid. You're making a fool of yourself. Like, why did you say this? Why didn't you just delete the comment, dude? It's your fucking channel.
Yeah.
There was the other one, and it was done by Zerarick. It's like, a glass of magma would taste better. Oh, well, that's pleasant.
I actually know exactly who you're talking about. Zerarick, there's your shout out.
Yeah. Funnily enough, he was a lot more eloquent. I will give him credit for this. He was a lot more eloquent.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, okay, this is someone who can very clearly speak properly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a matter of, then we come to the second issue where it's just someone with the same sort of toxic mindset, that it's just, and I kind of realized, whereas the first one is just, I'm just going to be talking to a wall, and the second one is, I'm just going to be talking to Archie Bunker. It's not going to go anywhere. And it's kind of like, I didn't even watch the video all the way through, because it just kind of came to like a third of the way in, and it's like, or they attach themselves to dead movements like feminism. And it's like, pretty much, once he said the phrase dead movements like feminism, I was just like, yep, okay, I'm done. I know exactly where this is going. I'm just going to close the laptop and move on and continue doing my work.
Yeah.
The only good one, the only one that I found to be worth addressing was, let's see if I can find it. And it's like it gets buried under all the others, so it's actually kind of difficult to find it. But it's a lot like the others, where it's just someone with a very, very, very small channel.
Mm-hmm.
And
you didn't want to give it to him.
No. Well, that it just means that because of that, it's just difficult to find.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like Mech's videos only get like such massive viewership because it has my name in the title, so it just shows up if you search my name. And it's like 10,000 views, but it's like 10 people voted. I'm like, I want to see the audience retention statistic on this. How many people are clicking on this thinking, oh, Jerry's making fun of himself? Oh, no, it's just some petulant, whiny little shit, and they just click away.
Okay. I'll thank you for that comment, by the way. That got that video up to a K. I have no doubt it was because he, well, partially the fact didn't enter lost his channel, and people were trying to find anything related to him at the same time.
Yeah. But there was this other one. It was probably the first response video I ever seen. I was like this kid. It sounded like this little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a matter of he was kind of like misinterpreting what I was saying. I even went through and I gave like timestamps for each one. I kind of like explained everything in particular. I even said, there was even points where I could just say, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's not deliberately misinterpret shit. But it's kind of like it started out with, I like Jerry Peet. It's like, okay, you got my attention. What have you got? What's your beat? What's your beat, buddy? I was like, all right, that was worth pointing out. There was one done by a bunch of pseudo-intellectuals, and that's not me being petty. That's actually their name. How cool is that? It was done kind of like as this big-ass response to like the 3 a.m. rambles I did on dubstep. And it's just like, already you have put more effort into this than I put into the 3 a.m. rambles. The 3 a.m. rambles are just 100% subjective. There's no objectivity to them at all. It's just 100% subjective opinion. Otherwise, it would be a glass of water. If there was any objectivity to it, it'd just be a glass of water. I just didn't fucking bother. I just said, get my face off your thumbnail, and then we'll be done.
Oh, Rhino Mills. That'd be exactly who you're talking about. I know who it is.
Put the same thing out to Zerarick as well. It's like, get my face off your thumbnail. And it's like, no, we're not going to do that. Okay, submit a privacy violation. Get my face off your thumbnail. You have 48 hours to do it.
All right.
They did it in 24 hours. It's like, all right, retract the complaint to YouTube.
Very good. I've had on. I forgot why I had on Mills. There was a he was making fun of a bunch of analysts, and I was like, well, I'd like to hear your side of the story since supposedly everybody hates you. And
yeah, you're talking about everybody hates me or everybody hates me?
Hated him.
Oh.
Not that I don't see. Okay, I kind of do sometimes.
Well, I can't really say everybody because I look at these videos and it's like 200 views, 300 views, 400 views, a channel with like 27 subscribers. It's like YouTube provides for us the metrics to show that nobody listens to these people. And video responses, you can't base content on that. Mm-hmm. You will never have a larger... here's the fact of the matter. If someone were to dedicate an entire channel devoted entirely to apparently debunking everything I say, mm-hmm. you will never have a larger viewer base than I have because you are inherently reliant on my viewer base.
I believe the term you're looking for is parasite.
Yes, parasite. You're inherently reliant on the people who love me and the people who hate me. And you will never go past that. It's like these are... A lot of channels have a carrying capacity because audiences are finite, but these are channels that have a hard capped carrying capacity. And I've even said to people, don't do response videos. It's like, hey, I want to start doing a channel. What should I do? I will tell you what not to do. Don't do response videos. They're petulant bullshit. And they don't do anything other than further back and forth internet drama. And I've always said, if it's worth making a response video over, why was it not worth it to just contact me directly and discuss it? That's the question I end up having to ask, because what inevitably ends up happening mm-hmm. is they don't want a discussion. They want to publicize some kind of fight. They're trying to what was it Josh put it about something about how discussions he was having about with Inkros, where he put it as he's having a discussion with Inkros about something. They're not trying to win an imaginary competition. And the people who do these kind of videos are deliberately trying to make it into this big publicized competition.
Looking for attention. Just like everyone else on YouTube.
Precisely. They're looking for attention, and it's like a matter of, it's the internet equivalent of egging someone's house. Now, there's a difference between doing that and using someone else's video as a jumping off point for a topic. I do that a lot with Dr. Wolf. Yeah. I think that's how Glass of Water started. It was just like me watching Dr. Wolf's videos and say, hey, that's an interesting topic. I'd like to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I see that, like a quick citation as opposed to, I'm going to break this down piece by piece.
Yeah, and I even said that to that Rhino Mills guy. You should probably do it in this sort of format because you will get more viewership and everything will work out better.
It'd be worse possible. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're only going to be able to build an audience on that if you already had an audience to begin with, okay? Building an audience on petulant, whiny response videos only works if you were already popular. Your Thunderfoots, your Amazing Atheists, your Mundane Mats. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to be like them. Let's face it. Nobody in their right mind wants to be like those people.
You know what's actually worse, though, than response videos to other videos is response videos to scripts for videos that haven't even been made yet.
Oh, we're picking on Biter again.
Am I?
Actually, I think in this case we're kind of picking on MisAnthro.
Oh.
Because he kind of did that too, Biter. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if like Biter or who's the other guy, CR, are still active. It sounds like they aren't. Are they still active?
Biter is still active. Okay, I'll put it.
You know what? I'll be honest.
Actually,
like,
Biter hasn't continued this.
You guys can talk about Biter all
oh shit! I forgot Looney was in the call. I was about to just basically incriminate the shit out of myself. Wow, you have no idea, Looney. I was like, let me tell you about. Oh, never mind.
I don't get it. Is Looney Biter?
No, Looney. He's the head of the analysis rift, and I allegedly
That's where
Allegedly.
That's where Fighter hangs out.
Yeah, may have enabled.
Is the Rift like this Skype group?
Yes, it is.
Josh used to always tell me about Biter. Josh used to tell me so much stuff about Biter.
That is the
Oh my
funniest.
God.
That is the
Now
funniest.
I
fucking
know
thing.
where it's...
Okay, Jerry, I want to ask about this since basically I always talked about this argument from the other end. Josh Scorcher argued with this gentleman, Fandom Horn from TBBBAP, Two Best Brothers Bitch About Ponies, about the pinky rap for 12 hours, and I always called Phantom Horn on it. You know, and we'd go, oh, that Phantom Horn, but what the fuck went through Josh's mind to keep that argument going with freaking Ben for 12 damn hours? Holy crap.
12 straight hours? Like, he didn't, like, get called off to school or...
Okay, this is what...
band or war?
Okay, this is how I can identify this. Before, I worked 12 hours...
Wait, hang on. You're telling me...
Yes.
That the U.S. managed to go 12 hours without declaring war on something.
Yes. This
Josh
happened.
Was not called away to battle.
Yes.
Yeah, this happened.
This happened, sir, and this is my excuse. I work.
I think that's the more astounding thing. It's like, wow,
Yes.
Josh, you had 12 hours to spare, and like, Congress didn't have that urge to bomb something.
Yeah,
Congress
I work.
is like fucking Gromosh Hellscream.
Yeah, I work a security job, so basically I'd look back at my phone every once in a while. Oh, they're still going after 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and I'm like, holy shit, shut up.
So was this like in a Skype
Chat, just chat,
It
pure
was in a Skype
text.
chat. Okay, here's the thing. I think it's probably meant because I do this too, where it's like I'll keep conversations going all fucking day, but it's like it's something I check in on as I'm doing other things.
Looney, you could back this up. You saw that argument, right?
Yeah, it was before I took over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't have put up with that shit. This was under the gentleman's name was a male alicorn.
What was the discussion about?
Okay, Josh Scorcher's like, I don't really like the pinky rap. It's kind of crap. And Ben's like, no, it's good. And then for 12 hours they argued.
So it turned into rap is good, rap is bad. No, you're wrong, I'm right. You're wrong, I'm right. Na.
Yes.
So it turned into Congress.
Yes.
Yeah.
My whole response was, I kind of like it, but I'm not going to sit there and I don't really care. Okay, you guys are going to go. I'm going to be over here.
I'll be honest. Having known Josh for like a year and a half, a year now.
Yeah.
No, actually, I've known Josh for about 2 years now. I've known Josh for 2 years now. I can safely say there isn't a malicious bone in his body.
He left after that discussion too and never came back.
Well, funnily enough,
I've tried telling him. I'm like, Ben's not there anymore. Come back, please. It's okay.
I can distinctly recall this time where Josh messaged me. It's like, oh my god, the Rift is such a pain in the ass. And I said, leave then. If you're so frustrated and angry there, leave. It was like this Skype group, this analysis group he was in. It's like, okay, if you're so frustrated, leave. And he was like, you know what? You're right. I left. Oh, well, okay. I was the one who told him to leave. So
they're gonna love you even more in there. But
the thing is, I don't think there's a malicious bone in Josh's body. Having known him for 2 years, I don't see a malicious. I affectionately call him Fire Jesus. Okay? Someone dropped out of the call.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I affectionately call him Fire Jesus, and he does some questionable shit. I've seen like maybe 2 or 3 instances where I've been having a conversation with him, and something very brazenly misogynistic comes out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at the way it's phrased, and it's like, you know what? I know Josh. He probably didn't do that deliberately, and like I pointed out, and every one of these instances, except for one, I pointed it out to him, and he was like, I really got to think before I speak. And it's like, no, I was right. It was entirely by accident. Yep.
There was that one time.
If Josh gets into like something that like aggressive, it's probably not because he's a rageaholic. Okay, Josh is the very opposite of a rageaholic. Josh if you've seen like that one Dr. Wolf video where he's agonizing over the fact that he has so much trouble controlling his anger. There you go.
Certainly. That was worth sticking around, that extra bit there. Thank you.
Yeah, that was worth sticking around. Yeah, Josh is adorable. Josh is adorable. I would give him snuggles any day.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down. Well, hey, and like I said, I'd love having you on. if you would like to recommend this to your friend, I'd be willing to have Mr. Scorcher as well. Cheap plug.
Well, I can certainly tell you this is going to be up on there's probably going to be like a link to this on both my YouTube channel and my blog. So.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, it's like, you know how when you log into your YouTube channel, you can set like what video you're going to highlight. I'm probably going to have that highlighted for like a month.
Oh, God bless.
People always ask for me to do this kind of stuff. It's like, we want to see you unscripted, just talking, and it's just I can never do it. And it's like, here's one where I did it. Here, take it and shut up, you 28,000 whiny people.
You're pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I had someone who did a little bit of digging who said it was about 20,000 subs or something like that, like several months ago.
26,000.
26,000. Okay.
How does someone do digging? How do you manage to dig that information out?
Oh, Faith said something about his network, and he did enough bullshit where he's like, it's about 20,000 several months ago. And I was like, yeah, I'll buy that. 20,000 sounds about right.
I think if you look at views on videos...
Oh, yeah, your views are fucking solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Social Blade? Like that.
Social... Well, I don't know if...
No, I think Faith said it was actually blocked even on there, because he's like, well, damn, it's even you can't see it on here either. Huh.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem,
Well,
man. Take
thank
care.
you.